Whether anarchism is Eurocentric or not, I think, is an interesting question. There are, I guess, there's an area of possible answers to that. I think that if you look at the social movement that has labeled itself as anarchist, that's generally been labeled as anarchist, to me, I would say that'd be it'd be a fair thing to say that it's Eurocentric in the sense that it has come out of, European political developments, European discourse, if you will. And even if you look at, that's an interesting argument. Obviously, there have been anarchist movements outside of, the European/Western world since at least the early 20th century. A lot of those movements, though, like if you look at, how they emerged in the beginnings, there was a strong connection to the anarchist movement in Europe, either through people who moved from Europe to other countries, let's say, as workers to Egypt, for example, or even Southern Africa, and started anarchist organizing there, or people from, let's say, China or Japan who had been to Europe and encountered anarchist ideas and kind of brought them back to their home countries. At the same time, of course, if you see anarchism in the wider sense, and you say, well, anarchism is about anti-authoritarian ideals, egalitarian ideals, whether you call that anarchist or not, then the picture, I guess, changes, because obviously you find those tendencies in, a lot of times and cultures. And I think in that context, for example, nowadays when people talk about or different terms that have been used, world anarchisms or third world anarchisms or whatnot. In that context, that obviously makes sense. And then anarchism wouldn't be Eurocentric, it'd be a universal idea that just expresses itself maybe differently in different places. So I think the kind of crucial point would be kind of, obviously the question of anarchism. If you really look at anarchism as the so-called anarchist movement that has its origins in, Bakunin and Kropotkin and whatnot, I think there is a Eurocentric element. However, if you look at anarchism as a wider, more general anti-authoritarian idea, then it's not centered anywhere in that sense.